Hey there, Jeremy Hamilton with 5280 Angler. I'm doing a series of tying videos now, uh, basically showing the patterns that I like to use on a regular basis. Some of them are established patterns that most of you will know and are familiar with, but maybe don't know how to tie. Others are going to be variations of those standard patterns, and today I'm going to be tying one of those variations, which is of a JuJu Baetis. Standard JuJu Baetis uses the super hair for the body, for the abdomen. I like to use tubing, micro tubing. It's a little more durable, way easy to work with, as you'll see, and just makes for a neat looking flight. Doesn't have the segmentation, which I do miss on that JuJu Baetis, but I'll do another video, another variation that I like to do. But today we're gonna go ahead with my just standard micro tubing JuJu. So start out with a 2457 hook, doing a size 18 today, and gonna do UTC white in 70 denier to start off. Gonna lay down a base of white thread. And I do the white thread because I like my tubing to show through. If I use a darker color, you won't be able to see the color of the tubing quite as well. So doing that white really allows you to see the coloring of that. So I bring my thread back to just slightly down the bend of the hook, a little bit past the hook barb. Then I'm going to tie in a tail. I'm going to use hen feather in brown, and what you want to do is strip off some fibers, get them perpendicular to the feather stem. Then you can bundle those fibers in your fingers and just pull them off. So now I'm going to measure about half the hook shank. Do a pinch wrap. Nope, a little bit long, so we can just pull those a little bit shorter there. There you go. And then I just kind of hold them down with my finger to keep them from rolling around the hook. There we go. I'm going to wrap back up, keeping them on top. But wrapping those butt ends back up helps build up a little bit of a taper. It's not a large fly, but we do want a little bit of a taper. It's always nice to have a little bit, and a little bit does go a long way. So now we're going to take our purple micro tubing. I like the micro in these sizes because it keeps a slim profile. We're going to tie that in on the top or on the side, and then I like to hold the thread tight, and as I wrap back, I'm stretching that tubing to keep it as thin as possible. And we're going to wrap back to where we tied in our tails, and we're just going to wrap it back forward. Like so. So I'm going to take that tubing, and keeping a good stretch on it, we're going to wrap it in touching turns. Keep it stretched. Now as I start getting to about the hook point, I'm going to start releasing some of that tension. That's going to help build up a little more taper in that abdomen. It's about right there. I'm going to bind that down. A couple turns right there, and then a couple tight turns to really hold that down. If you don't do those tight turns right there, that tubing will come unraveled. So it's a good idea to give a few tight turns. Now I can stretch that tubing and clip it. Okay, so now that we have that on there, we're going to use black thread for our thorax. Black UTC 70 denier. So I'm just going to tie that on there, just as you would a normal when you're starting on a hook. And we're going back over that white thread. Clip the tag. Now I can clip that white thread, and we're into our black. I'm going to wrap back just past or just shy of the hook bend or the hook point, and then we're going to take some Mirage Flash, just a little section right now. And we're going to tie that in for our flashback on top of the hook. Make sure you're lined up on top, otherwise it looks a little goofy. We like our fly. The fish don't care, but you know, when you're looking into your fly box, it's nice to look in there and see a nicely tied fly. So now for our wing case, we're going to do white fluorofiber. That's also going to be our legs, just like a JuJu Baetis. I like to do the white. We're going to tie those in on top. Line them up and wrap over them. We don't need to build up a bulky thorax here, just a little bit. Now we're going to take those fluorofibers and pull them forward. Bind them down with a couple turns. Then we're going to take that flash, go over the top of that with 2 good turns. And we're going to take that flash and pull it back. Give 1-2 wraps over that. That helps secure it in place so it won't pull out, and clip it close. So I'm going to reposition my hook just slightly so that my thread doesn't fall off of there. You can see it already kind of has. There we go. Oh boy. All is not lost. Okay. I give a pull up and back with those fluorofibers. That helps kind of push that thread back a little bit. So now we're going to split those fibers. I've got about 10 fibers or so in there. So we're going to split them about 5 a side. Pull 1/2 down one side. Give a wrap. Pull the other half down the other side. Give a couple wraps now. Pull them all back out of the way. Now we're going to do a whip finish. Just a 3-turn is fine. Pull that a little tight and clip it. So now I'm going to take those fluorofibers, pull them all back together so we get a nice even clip out of that. And we're going to cut it just a little bit longer than that thorax. Right there. And there you have my variation of the JuJu Baetis.